The Rockets and Mike D'Antoni having preliminary discussions about the framework of a contract extension that would keep him from entering the final year of his deal. D'Antoni says he wants to coach at least 3 more seasons. But, Brian, do you think the Rockets will actually extend his contract based on what the owner said?
We got a little bit of action through the media here. So the owner, Tillman Fertitta, gave an interview to the Houston Chronicle last week where he said, the term lame duck coach, that's a media term. That's not how I see it.
I have no problem with one,
right,
basically.
I have no worries. And which everybody around the league was talking about that interview, and they thought that signaled that Tillman Fertitta wasn't ready to extend Mike D'Antoni. So now we have Mike D'Antoni speaking to Woj saying, I'm energized. I'm ready to coach for 3 more years. Let's go. I'm ready to sign. Give me the contract. And so I would just put this into the orange camp. Just keep an eye on, level orange on this.
Right.
Maybe they'll come to an agreement on extension in the next few weeks or in July and everything will be A-okay. But this was interesting. This back and forth, 2 guys talking through the media, sort of making different points.
Scottie, given Mike D'Antoni's success in the regular season, has not been able to push the Rockets where they've wanted to be in the postseason. Do you think they should extend it?
Honestly, I don't. I think he's sort of reached his ceiling. I think as a coach, he hasn't shown that he can perform in the postseason. And I think it has a lot to do with the style of play that he creates around his team. And they're very predictable when it comes in the postseason. When you're going to see a team 5 times, or 7 times in a series, that your team is very predictable. And we've seen in the last couple of series, especially against the Warriors when they played them, that they have not been able to overcome the hump. And James Harden has not had the kind of series that he's had throughout the regular season that can carry over into the playoff. And what do you say to that? I think it's coaching. I think that teams are able to defend them better in the postseason than they are in the regular season because they focus on what they have to do to stop them.
I mean, something isn't working there, right? And by the way, you said see them 5 games, 7 games. The Warriors only saw them 6 games. But, I mean, I do think they have to take a look. Chris Paul is getting older. It's not a knock on him. This is how human beings work. They knew when they signed him to that contract that his ability to impact the game would have to shift into some of those other little more canny ways that older players do. They weren't going to be able to get the scoring from him that they were, or even the defense from him that they were when he first signed on with Houston. James is still an absolute force, but he obviously, as you said, isn't harnessed in a way that makes him so damaging in the playoffs. Something has to change there.
Coaches hate going into the final year of their contract. They think that it undercuts them. Terry Stotts, for example, when this season is over, he will have 1 year left, and I would expect the Blazers to reward him.
Yes.
And so if you look at a situation where Mike D'Antoni goes maybe 6 games against the Warriors and maybe Terry Stotts only goes 4, Terry Stotts gets an extension, what's Mike D'Antoni going to be more ammo for Mike D'Antoni? To say we're closer even than the guy who did get an extension.
And I'm not, by the way, saying it's Mike D'Antoni that has to change, but I don't know whether it's how much money they put into that roster next year has to change and whether they're still going to be looking to get under the luxury tax or willing to pay it. Something has to change because it's not working. Speaking of, Brian, your favorite topic, it might be coaching contracts. No, it's gambling. Let's talk about gambling and its impact on how teams are reporting injuries. In a piece on the ESPN app, you're detailing how the league has yet to take meaningful action when it comes to injury reporting. Do you think that they have responsibility to gamblers here?
This is a big issue right now. Damian Lillard has an injury that is not made public by the team. He has a poor game in Game 3. He says, I'm fine. The coach said it was no big deal. Last year during the finals, we had LeBron having a hand injury that was not reported. LeBron's last 3 games after that were substandard. Those after Game 1 went to overtime, and he scored 51 points. The next 3 were blowouts. And what the gamblers are saying is you can't, as an NBA, say, we're embracing this, we're getting into business, we're doing all these things, and not change the way you reveal injuries. And I don't know what to do about this. Scottie just talked a few minutes ago about how he had a herniated disc in the NBA Finals and did not let anybody know about it.
Yeah, but they won that game.
That's true. But, and look, the Blazers were favored in Game 3. Now that everybody knows that Lillard has an injured rib and doesn't look right, now it's the Warriors who are favored in Game 4. So it makes a difference.
But if you're a player, Scottie, do you want people knowing you're hurt in a playoff series?
No, and I'm sorry for the gamblers, but that's what it is. You're gambling. And as a player, we're playing the game, and I'm not going to give the enemy an opportunity to know what my injuries are going into a game.
But the NBA wants the gamblers, they want people to come in. And if you don't let them believe that it's on the up and up, it's going to be difficult.
Right,
they want that money.
I do think that it can be on the up and up, and still, as Scottie say, it's a gamble. You can't guarantee how it's going to turn out.
I think if Draymond knew that Damian had dislocated or whatever ribs, separated, that he's definitely going to spin a foul on it.
There we go.
Draymond wants a max contract. Where's the money coming from? I mean, that's the thing.
We're going to watch tonight. We will find out.